No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, and today I'm here with Yung Fume. How you doing, man?
Yes, my broski. You good?
Nice to meet you.
Out in London.
Having a good time. You know what's interesting though is the first video I clicked of yours on YouTube was filmed in Atlanta.
Oh, what one was that?
You're gonna have to tell me. I forget, but it was much.
I think it was.
in it.
Okay. So with Nudy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like, I think that was my first time in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, I went out there and I linked Zaytoven. So for me, it was like a
Tourist destination.
I was. I was really
that you were
experiencing the real Atlanta. So it was a bit mad. Obviously, where I shot the video was in the hood. Obviously, Nudy brought me out there.
Yeah.
So I got to really tap into the real Atlanta kind of vibe.
Yeah, he's good in the hood.
Exactly, you get me.
Tour guide.
And yeah, it was dope, bro. I feel like because of the sound that I do, melodic, and out here it started building. So to get like, to experience that kind of sound out there, obviously, you know, you're American. So when you go to Atlanta and you experience that sound in Atlanta, it's a different kind of feeling because the radio's playing that music. The clubs are playing that music. So for me being from London, it was just teed up. It was just turned up the whole way. So
Do you feel like it's a little bit less supportive in terms of like the UK's general reaction to local new rappers coming out? Do you feel like it's supportive?
what, Atlanta or in London?
In London, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now, like the London scene now, bro, is bigger than it's ever been. So it's like you could be a comedian, you could be a rapper, like anything that just trends on the internet, you're gone. And obviously, in terms of rapping now, I feel like it starts from your hood, innit? Like your hood have to support you first. And then once you got that going, it starts expanding.
So how did you get started early on?
I've been rapping from young. So I feel like for me, I'm 22 now, but I've been rapping from about 14. So before the London game changed, because it only really started getting big like 2 years ago, a year ago.
Really, that recent?
Yeah, proper like shows and all this stuff in terms of our generation anyway.
Right.
So before I was just rapping, doing my thing, more just for like my own problems in the hood. And then it just started getting noticed. And obviously as the game changed, just opportunities came. You know what I mean? I started realizing there's things like booking agents and festivals and all these things just started coming together.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing that's going to make your career last longer, really, is like sort of, you know, a lot of people want to resist the labels and they want to resist getting like too corporate with shit. But at the end of the day, if you want to be one of the guys that is still playing festivals or getting those kind of opportunities, I mean, you're more likely to get those if you're actually willing to play ball and make relationships and stuff.
Yeah, no, facts. You have to. And I realized that a lot of artists don't even understand the industry until they're in it and know like everything is more than what it looks, kind of thing.
But when you talk about making music when you were 14, was that a time period in your life where were you actually plotting on being successful? Did you think that there was a chance of you actually making it, or did that seem like a delusion at the time you were so young?
Yeah, it was literally, for me, honestly, it was just like I had problems in the area, and like being young, being 14, I had beef. It was like that was my way to get my point across to the other side, kind of thing.
Really? It was like that early on?
Yeah. I didn't see it as music, like I'm going to get this song and put it to the radio, and I just saw it as, yo, them I need to hear something. Let me say what I got to say. And as obviously as I got older, like I started making a bit more songs. And then obviously, one song hit. And then from then, you just gradually start building on what you got.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you describe your style at this point, and what were you initially influenced by, actually? Let's talk about that first in terms of American rap, local rap, anything.
No, keeping it 100, from young, I was probably most influenced. Obviously, I think the whole world's kind of influenced by American rap, but honestly, growing up, I was influenced by like UK rap, like the Giggs and the Dubs, because the way, if I actually keep it real, when I was 14, I was 15, I was just doing hardcore rap. Whereas now, as things gradually got on, I would say Future's, he's one of my big people that motivated me to obviously start. And I'm talking like 5 years ago. Like if you check up on my name, 5 years ago, that's probably when I started making that kind of switch with my sound from like hardcore rap to a bit more melodic. So yeah, Future's definitely one of them. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear that sort of Atlanta influence on your music, right? I think, is that kind of, in your mind, what you're gunning for, is to sort of embody some of that melodic, maybe sort of trap Atlanta type sound, and then mix that with your local influence and really appeal to your base in London?
I think, like, first of all, obviously I feel like it's different because like what I say, I've got a London accent, number one, so certain things that I'm saying on my songs, America might not even relate just because of my slang, so the whole of UK will relate. But in terms of answering your question, no, I never really thought like that, to be honest. I feel like it's just a wave. It's you as a person. How you go in the studio and just when you hear a beat, whether you're American, Chinese, like if you're that kind of person that just vibes like that, you are in it. And I feel like I can sing as well to an extent. So I'm not just jumping on beats and doing dumbness. I actually got a vibe going on kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about going from sort of like early on making music that was really just focused on, you know, talking about what's going on in your neighborhood, talking to your enemies, that kind of thing. Do you think, but that's kind of more of an overall thing that sort of happened to the UK scene in general, where you have a lot of dudes who were making really aggressive or not, you know, music that would appeal to the hardcore crowd. A lot of those same people are now making songs that could be on the radio.
Facts.
And maybe they still embrace that kind of stuff on their albums, or they still make music that tends to go in that direction, but then they also are concerned with, you know, making stuff that's going to go the distance. Is that something you think about?
I feel like that's where I'm probably most like unorthodox in the UK, because I don't think about that stuff. Like, I just make the music I want to make, and that's why I probably most just got certain things and certain accolades off of just doing what I want to do, because certain people act like that in the UK, you're right. Like, I feel like where the UK music's at right now, there's certain songs being made generally because they know they're going to be a radio song. And like you're saying, they're not talking about their life. They're not talking about what's going on in their actual real world. They're just making songs for the radio. And I don't think like that. I generally just make music, and what happens, happens, really.
When did it really when did rapping start to become like a real thing in your mind? Like when you started to actually turn that corner, was there a particular song or a particular moment that sort of made you realize that it was possible to do this for real?
Yeah, there was a song called Ami Weed Forest, and it's probably most... And then there was a moment where I got my first, like, distribution agreement. Because obviously, putting music on YouTube, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm not thinking about iTunes or Spotify.
Right.
So when I got my first distribution agreement, it was like, okay, I got to sign this contract, and I'm not just signing anything. So, yeah, that's what made me realize, okay, it's getting real now. I can put music on iTunes, make money from it. Let's start something.
Definitely. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
South London, so obviously for the American followers, like South London is probably most the grittiest part of London. Like in terms of round South, we don't really... It's not about the money. It's not about that. We just rob man around there, and that's just... I'm just keeping it real. That's what South is.
It's easy to get robbed out there.
Yeah, that's South London. We're gritty. Like, yeah, we're just... I feel like all of London's on this side, and then as soon as you cross over the bridge, because you know London, there's bridges throughout the whole middle of London.
Right.
As soon as you cross the bridge, that's South. So South is not over here. We're like an hour away, so we're kind of away from everyone and everything. But yeah, it was gritty. Like, for people think London's just posh, and they see, you know, Big Ben and all that, and they just think it's London. But no, where I'm from, it's real.
You're from the part that the tourists aren't going to go to.
No, you won't.
For a really good reason.
Yeah, I brought a couple man there, don't get it wrong, couple links from America, and they really, they're shocked when they come. They're like, oh crap, I can relate to this. But yeah, tourists ain't going to go there for sure.
What did you avoid in terms of getting into the rap game? Like, what were the things that, when you look at the people that you grew up going to school with who are in jail or just in bad situations, like what are the bad paths in terms of your area growing up?
Obviously selling drugs, doing crime, doing robberies. And I was doing all that stuff, but then it got to a point where I said to myself, I probably must had like 1 million views on YouTube at the point, and I was still out there, not like focusing on music. And I said, you know what? I've got 1 million views on YouTube. I can't be out here waking up every day doing all this kind of stuff. So I just literally had to separate myself, and obviously that's how I got out of all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And were the cops starting to like pay attention to you once you like had 1 million views? If you're making actual
100%.
rap music,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Especially out here now. Like, luckily for me, I've kind of got out of that just through how I've like done my image. You know what I'm saying? I've kind of made it and kind of matured my thing. But growing up, Jakes were on me for my music, and certain man now, the Jakes are on them for their music. It's like they will take down your songs and all that.
Really?
Yeah. They're not trying to let you eat, like, but it's just about you have to move smart and obviously know what you're putting out there.
Do you think that encourages UK rappers to like get deeper and deeper with their slang and their rhetoric because they want to say stuff that the cops aren't going to understand?
Yeah, facts. Like I've got a couple brethrens that I've said, like I've had to switch certain things around now because the Jakes, they will just take the songs down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy. That should be illegal.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. There's something going on right now, something big. I don't know what Stormzy's doing, but Captain Conan and that, but they got some political thing going on trying to sort that out, man, because it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
That's crazy. So, yeah, now that you've like got your fan base going and everything, like what direction do you feel like you're going in as compared to like the really, really raw music they were making when you were younger? Like, what gets you excited about music these days, and what's the stuff that you feel like you're pushing and progressing with?
For me, it's just about, like, I'm a sick performer. Without like gassing myself up, I'm a sick performer. So for me, when it comes to music, I like music that I know I can hit the stage, and whether it's 100,000 people or 100 people, they're gonna go crazy to the beats. They're gonna go crazy to how I'm riding these beats. So yeah, that's how I make music like that. I go off like liveness. Right. How would this hit a crowd? You know what I'm saying? So
I see you doing the whole festival scene and stuff, and I feel like that's something that you don't have when you're a young kid that you slowly get as you start playing to bigger and bigger audiences, where you're really conscious of wanting to make big, powerful songs because you know what that can do to a crowd of 50,000 people or whatever.
Facts. I feel like now is the time where I'm waiting on that one song now where I can switch it over from festivals to maybe arenas and experience that, because it's different. When you start performing in arenas, it's different.
Definitely.
So I'm just getting ready for that. Yeah. I'm getting ready for that season, man.
Definitely. So the Durk collab, that was probably my favorite song of yours, even excluding his verse and everything.
I love my bro.
That song's fire.
Love.
How did that come about?
So basically, one of my guys is his engineer. And obviously, it's like mad crazy because when I first went to Atlanta to link Zay, like I'm going out there generally just linking Zay, and I've walked in and there's some English guy, and he's gone Fume, but I'm saying, huh? Like this don't make sense. You sound English, but I work in the studio. Like he was working with Future at the time, but he was like, bro, I'm a big fan of your music. Like I'm from London, let's lock in. Went back to London. About a year later, we obviously kept on staying in contact. That's my guy till this day. Park Hill, shout him out. And yeah, obviously that's Durk's engineer. Through being in the studio in Atlanta and working there, he's making like opportunities for himself, you get? So boom, I've hit him. He sent Durk my stuff. And obviously Durk, like, he's a real person. So for me, he can relate to anything that's real. And when he sent him my stuff, he fucked with it and he said, yo, come to the A, let's link up. Like, leave it at that. Yeah. It wasn't about music. Linked him, the vibe was right. And yeah, we just got it in, and it's like, Durk's a real person now. If he realizes that you're actually, forget the music. If I vibe with you, he'll try and help you to his best that he can. You get it? So yeah, shout Durk, man. He's a real one.
That's crazy because I feel like a lot of times when you see a UK rapper who gets a big American rapper on their song, it's just, a feature where they just, the label paid for it or whatever. And when you're just paying for a verse, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. You might go and spend a whole shitload of money and get a bad verse because the rapper wasn't feeling the song or whatever. So that's kind of crazy to just know that Durk would even be interested on an organic level like that.
And I've seen the two differences because shout Nudy, that's my guy, but just keeping it real. The first feature I did with Nudy, the label never lined it, but they patterned up, like, they sorted me with Zaytoven. I had a guy that knew Nudy and he sorted the feature, but he was charging, but the label paid.
Right.
So when I'm gonna link Nudy, we vibed, that's my guy, but it was like the first time we linked, because it was through the label, we had to kind of create that vibe. And it was weird at first, you know what I'm saying? Whereas when I linked Durk, through him just knowing my stuff already, it was natural. So it was a different feeling, you know what I'm saying?
That's actually crazy too, because I was just interviewing H and he told me that Durk reached out to him when his first song went viral. Yeah, so that's kind of wild to think that he's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on.
You wouldn't think it.
Paying attention, man.
I feel like the UK is tapping in right now.
I feel like that too.
100%. It's the time. Like by next year, I think the world will know that.
It's been like this slow bubbling over like a period of however many years, 10 years, whatever, in the sense of it's people getting more and more accustomed to it, and it's like, yeah, it could just be like a breakout moment any minute now.
Yeah, facts. And how I always seen it is just America, it just takes the right crowd to see it. That's why I kind of went and linked like Nudy and that, because them man are tapped into a different kind of like crowd. They're not the high ups, they're still bubbling. So I feel like, see that crowd that tap into the bubbling people in America, they need to tap in over here and see these bubbling people in London, because it's like, that's when stuff will start really getting hot.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any particular affection for Fat Joe? Do you grow up listening to him or anything?
I did, you know, to be honest, I did. But that's got nothing to do with the song, though.
That was just because you were leaning back.
No, I was just leaning back. But Fat Joe, yeah, man, I would say growing up, he was like a icon.
For me, too.
Like, what's that game?
Def Jam Vendetta?
Yeah, that's it. He was like one of the strongest.
Ah.
You get it? I remember that.
I feel like people always mention that game in modern times because of Joe Budden, because it's just so weird to think that Joe Budden was this big buff fucking character in that game.
He's done. But I've been saying to the bros, it's weird. I said to the bros, that game needs to come back. Like, if they did a game like that now for the rap culture, money.
Mortal
real
Kombat,
money.
but with all rappers.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all people would want to play.
Proper.
Yeah, it would be like when I remember when the skate video games would come out and stuff, and they'd have all the pro skaters. It could be like that, but with the rap scene.
See, I never played no skate
You never
games,
got into
so I
that?
wouldn't know. No.
Tony Hawk 2?
I think I played it, but I didn't really take it in. I was young.
That was the shit.
You know, like that.
Yeah. So in terms of like your diehard fan base and the people that really fuck with you, what do you think they want from you versus like what you're giving them? Like, do you feel like you have that hardcore fan base that is just excited for anything you put out, or are they riding with you for the different things that you've experimented with or tried? Or
yeah, no, I feel like my fans are proper real hardcore, because I'm not like the biggest in the UK. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm doing all the biggest things. I'm on all the biggest things, and that's just because my fans are diehard. Like throughout the years, they've seen the consistency, they've seen the switch, they've seen, you know, like your fans always want to see the glow up. They don't ever want to see you on the same level for so long. So because they've seen the things that I've done, and being independent and being young, they just can relate to me. So for me, I just feel like right now my fans just want to see me go worldwide, honestly. Like, that's what they want to see. They've been waiting for years. They just want to see me blow up. But it's obviously down to me now to really lock in and get this thing worldwide.
yeah, what do you think is the main things that you need to do in order to take it to that next level? Is it about just that one big song, or?
I just feel like keep working. I feel like it's more of a London thing. Generally, I just feel like London whole music scene needs to just be, I don't know how, but get some light on it. And obviously it's coming now, hence why you're here, hence why everyone at Wireless is shutting it down. Things are coming, so as London gets more light on it, people just start seeing what all the artists are doing.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. I feel like America's basically the same thing, but they got the whole world looking at them.
But it's like once you get that, like when I look at even like individual American cities and stuff, like when Chicago really has popped off over the course of the last 10 years, and previous to that, there wasn't really like a scene. And now you look at Chicago, and I could name you like 5 rappers that have blown the fuck up this year out of there. You could point at, Juice WRLD coming up over last year. I mean, that could very easily happen to London. It's just an issue of having it crack through on a bigger level, and I feel like it's like steadily getting there, and that's kind of better, because you can have an artist who comes through and is a breakout star or whatever, but if it is just like a one-hit wonder type thing, then that's not necessarily going to rise the sea level for everybody else who's doing it. But if it's more of like everybody sort of coming up gradually together, then it's more likely to happen.
Yeah, no, facts. And it's just about, at the end of the day, it's people. Like, people don't seem to realize that America's got how many states, and China's how big. Like, London's very small. Like, you will see that our artist is here with how much views, just like the Americans. Probably most Instagrams ain't got that much followers, because generally our city's so small. Like, we can't consume as much as the outer world. So like you're saying, once people start gauging in, it's all them chunks of people, that's streams. That's for me. That's how I see it. All these other islands, that's streams. That's more people. That's you charting. That's you going #1. Like, and it's coming. Like you're saying, innit? People are locking in and they're starting to see what's really happening in London.
Definitely. Who are you when you're not recording? Like, what's your day-to-day like? Your life?
When I'm not recording.
Yeah, when you're not doing any of the typical music industry rapper type stuff, what do you do to unwind?
I play game. I'm not gonna lie. I play like Fortnite. That's one of my. Obviously, I ain't played it as much recently, but I'm a gamer. I would say.
You're pretty decent at Fortnite?
Yeah. I'm more of a COD guy though.
Okay.
Call of Duty.
You're just trying to keep up with the times.
Exactly.
On the Fortnite wave?
Exactly. But it's getting. I don't know. They're doing too much to it now.
Really?
I feel like they're throwing too much things in it. But yeah, gaming. What else? Taking holidays. I really like taking holidays, and when I took a lot of holidays for work. But when you do that, you're not really on holiday.
What were you doing? Oh, you mean rap-wise?
Yeah, rap-wise.
Okay.
So I'm not on holiday. I'm linking studio, late night. Like, I like taking holidays and actually with my family. I do that a lot. And just relax, like,
You still tight with your family?
Yeah, definitely. You have to be.
Yeah, that's one thing. I feel like the average family bond in England is a lot tighter than in America. In America, it's way easier to
fall out and go across the state and just yeah.
Because it's so big that if you move to California from the East Coast, that's like a 5-hour plane ride. There's no such stretch in Europe.
Facts. I don't know what, maybe just America's, like you're saying, it's kind of like London, but in America you got to go somewhere to make it. I feel like in America, if you're from the state, all the way down north in Buck City or whatever they call it, like you're gonna have to go to LA to pursue your dream. So you might have to leave your family.
But being in London, it must be kind of crazy because it's like this is the place.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. And obviously, like I say, it's not. It doesn't feel like that because it's all come. This just feels normal to me. This is where I'm from, and now there's a scene. So it's just like to see it happening. It's crazy.
When you look at like how the people that you grew up around, how they feel about what you've accomplished so far, is it a real sense of pride? Like I get that from a lot of the people I've been talking to as well. That it's like people want to see their local rappers succeed. They want to see you actually go somewhere, and they're excited for you.
Yeah, facts. In terms of London, is that how it is out here? Yeah, like especially for me anyway, where I'm from, people want to see me succeed. They want to see, like, they're rooting for me, and I feel like especially if you're speaking on all the rappers in London, where I'm from, probably most got the most, like, popping rappers, I would say. We started the game. I'll just keep it chill, like South London started this industry that we have now. Yeah, fact.
Crazy. What do you feel like? Okay, so you're saying you want to have that one big song. Is there anything else that stands out to you that you really got to do if you want to make it happen for yourself over the next year, or like what's the plan?
I feel like visually I want to start taking it to the next level, like with my visuals. So for anyone looking now, what you're going to see in the future is going to be totally different. I want to take them visuals to a whole next level.
Nice. Yeah.
And obviously that, I feel like once you take your visuals to the next level, that's what shows people that you're on a different kind of...
It feels like YouTube is like such a portal to success. Like that's where it really goes down. That's where names are really made in the scene.
Yeah, facts. It's just it's a computer around the world. Anyone can tap into it. So you really got to work on that.
Hell yeah. Well, yo, I appreciate you coming through.
I love my guy.
Yeah. Anybody you want to thank? Anything you guys shout out before we?
Shout out Durk. Shout out Nudy. Shout out Zay. New Wave London. Make sure you lot check it out. Shout out Adam. Fume, and make sure you tap in Noughts and Crosses that way.
Appreciate you,
Love
man.
my guy.
Thank you, bro.
Sure.
Yung Fume, make sure you check him out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, all of that. No Jumper. Check us out, too. Appreciate that.